Welcome to our short presentation, Decision Intelligence, Going Beyond Cost and Count Data. When it comes to making the important decisions for your business, you need decision intelligence. But to support that, do you know where your data is? We all know that data is at the heart of all of our decision making, but not all the data for that decision making is found in our traditional cost and count business systems. You'll have an idea what I mean if you think about whether or not your organization has ever had to select a vendor for a new project, or is required to monitor daily conditions so that you can adjust environmental aspects of your production process. How about if you need to track activities so you can understand impacts and flow rates? You might try to keep track of all of this information on a spreadsheet or two, or we can introduce you to Quality Essential Suites and take a look at our dashboards and data types for decision intelligence. Dashboards are specific to end-user login. This is my dashboard. One of the tasks that I like to keep track of is how many inspections the purchasing department and the manufacturing department have executed over a given time frame. Another item I like to track is the number of inspection documents overall that are created, how many remain to be completed, and whether or not any of them have been voided. These are items that give me a very easy management view of the activities taking place outside on my shop floor. However, none of this data is part of my typical cost and count data from my accounting system. My accounting system isn't going to tell me how many inspection documents the purchasing department is writing. My cost and count data isn't going to tell me the data types that are being returned as information from my testing processes. In order to keep track of that kind of information, I need a different tool. I need Quality Essential Suite. Before we build new dashboard tools, let's first of all take a look at the source of our data for our dashboards. We'll find that in the Master Data tab and the Test Entry Master Record. In our Test Entry Master Record, we can define the data type that will represent the data that we will record when we complete a test. There are 9 data types available. We can have numbers up with 5 places of decimal, Boolean, which would be true and false. We can have a predefined list of selections. We call that a system code list. We can also enter in anything alphanumeric, which we call free text. There's the ability to add dates and times and a combination of dates and times. And of course, we want to be able in some cases to attach a document or a photograph. Our last data type is simply to record the quantity of material that passes or fails a given test. From this data, we can build the various different gauges that are part of our dashboards. When we have completed creating the test records with their data types, we're going to use them to respond to our inspection processes. For such responses, we will enter our data in the results entry form. This upper area of the form represents a header record. And when the header is created, we will have some detailed records in the lower portion of the form that will represent the individual tests we are going to complete. To better understand the result data that we will be analyzing in our dashboards, let's take a closer look at the header record. We start off by identifying an item number from our inventory that can be purchased or made. In this case, we have a purchased item and we have a list of receipts. We can look up the list of receipts from a drop-down list. We also want to know where our inspection process is taking place. In this case, it's on the shop floor. And then we want to know what the inspection process we will follow actually is called. We're going to assign these results to a particular lot number. We also want to know the date that the activity is taking place, and we can have it assigned to a particular individual. That's just some of the data we would be using. When all of the details for an accurate header record are complete according to our processes, then we can select the Create Test function. This function is going to identify all of the individual tests related to our inspection that need to be completed. Our first test is a color or luminance test. We have an acceptable quality limit with an upper and lower level. When we key in the value that we have recorded from our testing, the system will respond by identifying whether or not we've actually met the criteria for the test. Now that we have completed all of the data that we need for this particular inspection, let's go take a look at dashboards and see how we might use that data to do a deeper analysis of our performance. We're going to open the Dashboard Designer And from the Dashboard Designer, let's open an existing dashboard so we can see how it was built. There can be an unlimited number of these dashboards available in the product. Here we have three very different sets of analysis. In our first chart, we're examining the on-time performance of given vendors with given products. In our second chart, we are actually tracking the moisture percent found in our plant on a daily basis. And in our third chart, we are looking at the number of instances that tests have been completed across the products that we inspect. Let's try some additional manipulation on our data. I'm going to take a look at my on-time vendor delivery and see if the delivery changes when I select just an item number as the measurement point. In this case, my item number is going to be AB resin. When I select the item number, my chart changes because we're only focused on the deliveries of AB resin, which have been coming from our AAA vendor and our AABV vendor. It's pretty clear that my next purchase order, based on performance, should be going to my AAA vendor. In my Trends by Test Code chart, I might actually like to duplicate this chart and focus on a different test code without having to build all of the details. Simply creating a duplicate will allow me to do that. Then I can access my filter once again, and this time select for my test code a different test code. I'm going to select the test code AMELT01, and we'll go ahead and refresh that, and we can see that we have a different range of tests available, so we can see the melt levels of the products that were produced in our facilities. We can also edit the charts in other ways to make them more meaningful. For instance, I can change the name of this chart so that we know that it is going to absolutely tell us what the melt point is of our testing processes. I can also change the value on the x-axis and the y-axis. In this case, on the y-axis, what we want to say is that the value being measured is in degrees Fahrenheit. This will make the chart much more useful to other viewers. Of course, it's not just about reviewing data, but it's also about taking action. I may be concerned that my melt point has dropped very low here, in which case I might want to notify someone. So if I select a print preview of this chart, I can then send the chart as either a PDF or an image file via email to the required party and provide them with instructions on the action I would like them to take. Another way I might use this data is I might want to embed in a document my vendor on time delivery chart. To do that, I'll first have to start by exporting the image. Once my image has been saved, I can add it to my product specification and sourcing details. I'll just insert the picture into my document. And now I'll have a record of how I made my vendor selection. Quality Essential Suite is a client-server, multi-user software solution for your quality requirements. It is sold with unlimited user access, which means that any user who has access to the dashboard products can actually create their own dashboard icons using existing dashboards or create brand new ones. This means that there's great capability to share all of the data. When creating a new dashboard, we're simply going to have access to all of the quality-related data tables, and we will be able to build our inquiries from there. We look forward to the opportunity to share more of our product functionality with you. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and please don't hesitate to contact us if we can answer any additional questions.